Thank you very much. I'm glad I've got an audience at the graveyard shift. But, you know, as I say, the best is usually left for last. So thanks to Red Cloud. It's the first time I'm coming to a Red Cloud event, and seems to be a good, very good show. So, Osino Resources. We're a gold exploration company active in Namibia. There's quite a significant history to how we came to this point, and I'll tell you that story in a minute. But we are very active. We recently made an exciting discovery, and we are in the process now of defining that discovery and advancing it as fast as we can to a real project. So Osino, in terms of the story, how it came about, I'll get there in a minute. So in 2012, together with my partner, who might be in the room here, we founded a company called Oryx Gold, which bought the Otjikoto project in Namibia. And B2 Gold made that project famous because it's their Namibian operation. We did not discover it, but we advanced it and we defined it and ended up selling it to B2 Gold for just under $200 million in 2012. So that was good for us and my partner over here, Alan. We made a bit of money, but more importantly, it gave us conviction in Namibia as an emerging gold belt. And B2 Gold did us very proud because they built a very successful gold mine that makes lots of money and is very profitable, even at what many would consider lowish grades. So that became our proxy, and Alan and I said, well, let's try and do this again. So we put this company, Osino, together, initially as a consolidation play with a large land position, which in the depths of the downturn in 2015 and 16, we put that together. But we always knew that land position or scale is not what sells, because I should say we're doing this because ultimately we intend to sell this company like we did last time. Now, land position as such does not sell. You got to create real projects. And, you know, I'm a mining engineer. I've built projects before for Anglo Gold. I know what it takes to build a real company. So the difficulty we had with Osino was that, you know, Namibia does not have so many advanced projects. So we had to find one ourselves. And we did that. So, you know, we did 2 or 3 years of intensive exploration, which culminated in this discovery that we announced in August. Some follow-up results in January. We got some good share price traction, and I believe we are off to the races. So just some details in terms of the company. You know, we were founded and we led by a management team that knows what it's doing. We've built companies, we've financed companies, and we've sold companies. We've delivered value to shareholders. We are in a great country, Namibia. I'm a born Namibian, I didn't say that, but as you can imagine, I have a lot of relationships there, and that is what enabled us to put this together. It's a very safe country. For those of you who haven't been, imagine it to be like Nevada. It's really a great place to operate. You can drill all year round. We've got the weak South African rand as a currency. So, you know, it's cheap to operate, and you can do a lot with not too much capital. And then lastly, we have a really great group of shareholders, a real Mercedes-Benz group of shareholders, led by Ross Beatty, who owns 15%. My family and Alan's family, we are significant shareholders. We put about $2 million into this company, so we are totally aligned. We have resource capital funds that have been there also for a long time. And then in this last financing that we did 3 weeks ago, I think it closed, or 4 weeks ago, we got a great cross-section of North American institutions, specialists, and even some generalist funds from Europe. So really a good financial backing that supports us in what we're doing over here. So you can see the share price there up and down. Initially, you know, priced as an exploration company, you can see that re-rating on the discovery. It's been a bit of trading, 4-month hold, sell-off, etc. at the end of last year. And then in January, when we announced our follow-on results, I think the market recognized that this project is for real and is going to go places, and that was reflected in the share price. So as an investment proposition, I guess I'll give you the conclusion up front, and then I'll go into a bit of detail. But we believe that the geological risk has largely been taken out of this, largely been mitigated. We've made the discovery, and we are now mainly about defining it. We have significant further discovery potential, so we're not going to stop there. But of course, the focus will be on advancing our core project, which is Twin Hills Central. And the second major risk, which is typically financing in junior mining, as you guys know, has also been largely mitigated, because with a $15 million odd that we have in the bank now, we are financed throughout this year and well into next year with a very intensive technical program. So regardless what happens in the market, it it does not affect us. We're on a path, and we're going to execute that path now, between now and over the next 2 years. So in terms of management, I'm the CEO and founder. Alan is my partner. He's based in Toronto. I'm based down in Cape Town. I'm in Namibia, and as I said earlier, being down there is very advantageous because I'm heavily focused on execution, and I think that's my core strength. I'm really good at getting stuff done. And Alan Friedman, my partner over here, is many years in the public markets, got many deep relationships with financial institutions, and having him here helps me tremendously. And I think, for example, this financing we just did with Cormac was unusual in that there are not many junior companies that are able to do this kind of overnight marketed deal. We were able to pull that off, and I think that's credit to Alan over here. Just briefly on geology, so we're in Namibia, of course. Namibia has an established gold belt, or an established mineral belt, I should say, the Damara belt. It has produced many noteworthy deposits in copper and uranium. Only recently in gold. So the two gold mines that are there, one is owned by B2Gold, the other one used to be owned by Anglo. They are both profitable and significant. One is 6 to 8 million ounces, the other one is 2 to 4 million ounces. But until recently, they were seen to be oddities. People weren't sure how to classify them. And I think that's where Osino has made a real difference, in that we've brought this strong orogenic focus. Now, we didn't invent that. We just applied it from elsewhere. But it informs our exploration approach. And really what orogeny refers to is plate tectonics, structurally controlled. So we look for these big structures, we explore along them. When we find mineralization, eventually we drill it, and using this approach we were able to make this discovery. I should also add that one of the reasons not more has been found in Namibia is because large parts of it is covered. And so we applied some Western Australian techniques that became available in the last 10 or 20 years that have worked very well, because the terrain, as you can imagine, is very similar to Western Australia. And using these techniques, we were able to delineate a large gold system through about 20 meters of cover, and we're busy exploring that. And I think there's a lot more to be found. Just our land position, we have about 7,000 square kilometers clustered in northeastern or sort of north-central Namibia. On that slide, you can see the sort of square box at the bottom there. That's where most of our activities are, down there. Just for scale, this is about 250 kilometers. And that's there's our Chikoto, that's B2Gold, the pink area, the blue is all of us. And we have a range of targets and discoveries and prospects on this ground position. Probably about 45 defined targets. We have about 3 or 4 discoveries. And we follow a portfolio approach to exploration. We are spending money on all these targets, but the focus clearly is on the project that's most advanced, which is Twin Hills down there. So over there, step 1 was consolidate this area. Step 2 was to execute a credible technical program, which culminated in that discovery, which we're busy drilling out now. So just zooming into that area that I highlighted at the bottom there. So that's about 50 to 100 kilometers from there to there. Navachap is ex-Anglo. A lot of you guys know this mine. It's a 6 to 8 million ounce resource. It's producing. It's owned by a private group, and it's in production. We again followed that same approach, consolidated the area. We then used geophysics. We identified a big regional structure. It's all covered, and we ended up discovering this is what we call the Twin Hills system, which is a 15-kilometer gold system. I'll just use Robert Friedland's great comparison. So 15 kilometers is about the size of Manhattan. So it's a big football field. And our Twin Hills central discovery, which we're drilling, is in the center of it. But there are multiple additional targets along this trend that we are going to drill and test further this year. But the focus clearly is going to be over there. So just the kind of intercepts that you can expect or that we managed to achieve are down here. So clearly very large intercepts, like 240 meters at low grade so far, granted, but it's unheard of in this terrain. It's amazing. It's astonishing. 240 meters. That borehole is virtually mineralized throughout. We've drilled down to 200 meters generally. And as we carried on drilling, we started discovering higher grades too. So this discovery really hangs together, and that gives us the confidence to really drill it. We are on a trajectory that is quite similar to where Otjikoto, which is the B2 gold mine, was on before we got involved, except that we have a much better background situation in the company, and that we are better funded. We have more conviction, more knowledge, and so I think we can accelerate that discovery process compared to Otjikoto, for example. Okay, just a bit of detail. So that's our system over there. This is the Twin Hill system, structurally controlled, mostly undercover. You could call it a string of pearls. We've got these pearls of mineralization on surface. This is a surface anomaly. And this is the drilling, 30-odd holes that went into Twin Hill Central. This is Twin Hill Central, color-coded by gram meters, just to give you a sense. So we consider anything more than 50 gram meters as good, and anything more than 100 gram meters as exceptional. And in total of the 40-odd holes or 30-odd holes that we've drilled into this, about 10 to 12 are very good or exceptional. So it's quite an astonishing hit rate, considering it's all undercover. So that gives us the confidence that this discovery is going places. So we've drilled it so far over about 1,000 meters, and this year the focus will be on extending it, infill drilling it, and basically advancing it to the resource stage as fast as we can. I think realistically it's going to take us 12 to 18 months to do so. But we already have enough knowledge to be quite confident that it's going to be, north of 1 million ounces, well north of 1 million ounces. I don't want to put a number to it, but to me, the low water mark is 1 to 2 million ounces. I think that's what gets the attention of the producers, and that's what we have to prove through drilling. That's just on Twin Hill Central. And then, of course, there's all the upside from the other satellite targets that we're going to drill. So I think the whole district, it's an entire district that we own, has very significant potential and clearly has multi-million ounce potential. So that's Twin Hills, that's the core. Over there it's just, again, showing it in a different fashion with a gram meter color coding and this is the surface projection of the leapfrog modeling that we've just started doing. And you can see that it hangs very well together, and it's, the continuous nature of it is pleasing and is what gives me the confidence that this ultimately, I believe, will be mined. So in terms of work program, very active. We put out a press release a couple of days ago, about $8 million. Doesn't sound like a lot in Canada, but $8 million in Namibia gets you quite far, because we have a significant exchange rate kicker. Namibia has the South African rand, which is weak, so it gets you far. And it's a mix of mainly drilling, around 20,000 meters of drilling in 2 phases, and IP, structural work, classic, systematic, quality exploration, like big company exploration. That's what we're doing. And then in addition, at the bottom there, the green bits, is quite a lot of regional exploration too. Sampling, deploying this sort of calcrete sampling technique through cover in the other areas in order to try and make additional discoveries on the rest of our ground. So that will leave us with around $6 to $7 million at the end of this year. So therefore, we are funded well into next year, not even taking into account the warrant exercise that could happen if our share price keeps performing. So well financed, and so therefore I think as an investor, the 2 key risks are well taken care of. The geological risk has largely been taken out of it, and the financing risk is largely mitigated. So it's a great position to be in. So in terms of catalysts and news, it's mainly work program related, lots of drilling, additional drill results, and further exploration on the remainder of our ground. So in closing, just to repeat, we know what we're doing. We've delivered value before. We're in a great country. We don't expect to lose our licenses or be overrun by terrorists or any of that. We are literally in a place that looks and feels just like Nevada. I think I said it earlier. We've made the discovery. We've got a great portfolio of assets, a very significant pipeline of further opportunities, And we've got Mercedes-Benz list of shareholders behind us that are funding us. So I think we're in a great position, and I think we're going to have a very big 2020.